welcome to another episode of Unboxing Women, where we explore the gender gap in the music and entertainment industry. If you're active in the music business, an independent artist, a musician, or are just curious about how it all works, then this pod is for you. My name is Micah Rose, and with me is my friend Dana Rex, and we are both independent recording artists based in Europe, actually Belgium and Germany. After having been called a bitch for knowing what we want, we were fed up and decided to be such a bitch and reveal what really goes on behind the scenes. You can listen to us on your favourite podcast platform and on our YouTube channel.
Yes, YouTube channel.
Yes, today's topic is a continuation on the how-to series we've got going on this season.
Yeah.
But today is more of a how not to do.
How not to do.
Yeah, we're talking about creative burnout.
Yes.
So,
which we felt today a little bit on some kind of level. It is to say, so Micah has come down from Hamburg to visit me in Belgium, where we record our sessions when we're together. So usually we record virtual ones where we're both on kind of like a Zoom setting, a video call. And now, you know, we actually did a couple of these when we were together 2 years ago, and we liked it so much. So she's back now and we're here together in one space. But that does mean that, you know, we're doing this in a batch setting, you know, like all like 3 or 4 days recording all of the episodes. Today, well, we all know, you know, Dana Rex, you know, and the makeup and the war paint. I just didn't feel like putting on makeup today, and it takes so long, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. And so it is a little bit part of creative burnout. So we just decided to not put any makeup on today for this episode.
Exactly. I mean, to a lot of people, you're going to be like, oh, what are you talking about makeup? This is a podcast. I listen to you anyways. But we do upload this as video form on YouTube. And so we do actually present ourselves in a certain way. Although I usually don't bother a lot of the time. But that is also due to creative burnout, to be honest, because I realized this year, specifically this year, since the beginning of this year, because I've come out of a really intense semester at uni, that I stopped wearing makeup, not because I didn't like wearing makeup, but because I felt like I didn't have the time to put in the effort into me. And I feel like I enjoy having on a little bit of mascara. I'm not like a heavy makeup person on day-to-day life, but I enjoy making myself look nice, you know?
Yes.
And I haven't been doing that, and I think it's partly because of the kind of the feeling you're in when you have tons of shit to do, and you just kind of go like, well, everything else is more important than actually caring for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one, isn't it? Because you have so many things that you're like, okay, let's just skip this because it doesn't really matter. But it does because it makes you feel good.
Exactly.
You're spending some time alone by yourself doing the thing. It's also your craft, because I noticed that you did eyeliner yesterday and the day before, and I said, oh, it's really well done. And we all know, for people who do eyeliner, that it's not easy and you have to practice that shit. So yeah, that means to me that, you know, you have done this before a lot of times. Yeah. For me as well, you know, now it's easier, but there was a time where I put makeup on, I didn't really know what I was doing, and then I got into Dana Rex and I figured out, okay, what is this look now for me?
Yeah.
And I really enjoy, you know, wearing the makeup and the war paint, and, you know, it's fun, and it is obviously a big part of the persona. And it takes less and less and less time, because the more you do it, the better you are at it and the faster it goes.
Yeah.
So I mean, without the hair obviously, if I have to do the braids and everything, that takes time.
That takes time, yeah.
I think if I do a really fast hair thing, I can do it in half an hour, and if I do my makeup normally, it's 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what I'm doing exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not super long. I mean, for Dana Rex, if I would just go out to the store, I don't put makeup on, or even, if I'm going out with friends, just a little bit of mascara or something on my eyes or whatever, but not the whole war paint. But it's just, you just don't take the time for yourself, do you?
No, because you think like everything that is just for you and for your mental health and for your happiness is secondary. It's a wrong setting of priorities, basically. Yeah. So the priorities really, for me, a lot of the time, like with creative burnout, obviously we're talking about creative burnout, but it does have loads of crossovers to like burnout in general.
Yeah.
I mean, you do fall into a type of depression, right? In the extreme case. There's smaller cases where obviously it's just, or I say just, creative burnout, as in you just can't be bothered to try to write new things.
Yeah.
You can't be bothered to kind of go on stage. You maybe even get anxiety because you're like, oh, I should be doing this, but I just can't bring myself to do it. And then you feel worse, and then it, that kind of spirals. But like in that case with the spiraling, then comes the depression, then comes the kind of starting to question everything you're doing and everything your life has been about, and are you even good enough, and and it all flows together in this one big mass of just ugliness, right?
Well, is creative burnout then not just burnout, but for artists, really? But on the other hand, it isn't, because I can still, sometimes I cannot create. I cannot create because I don't have inspiration, or I'm stuck, like mentally. It's like, oh no, I need to do this first before I can start writing a new song. And I can do all the other things. I can do some marketing, I can do some this and that, and I can think about things, or I can like make artwork or a poster about, for example, our show on the 4th of May. You can make, because the picture exists, you're like moving,
it's just putting it together,
moving some text around, and that you can do. But then really saying, okay, I'm going to write a song now, that was like completely impossible.
Yeah. Well, that's also because that's the part of the creative burnout, right? Because that's just because being creative, it needs you to be in the right headspace, and you need to also have experienced new things.
Yeah,
you can't just write new things when nothing has happened to you in your life, right? Maybe you can write a song about boredom or creative burnout.
Yes,
but you still, for that, you need to be past that. You need to be in the right headspace again. So it's kind of like, I need to be I don't know, focused and get in my creative flow. And actually that can be trained. You can train yourself to get into a creative flow by always putting yourself in the same setting. So even if nothing happens in the beginning, you don't give up after 5 minutes. You sit there for an hour or maybe more, and just try and just do stuff, and get on the piano, get writing, get singing, even if it's crap. You just start doing things, and that. If you always do it in the same setting and the same, place in your room in the same way, maybe even the same time, but I think the setting is more important, then you can rewire your brain to actually start being creative in that time, because it's used to it. So you can get past these things with habits, but I feel like when it gets hard when it's when it coincides with just so much going on in life, feeling like you can't take the time to actually just sit and have nothing productive come out of it, and then just
it feels like wasted time.
Exactly.
But it isn't, but it still feels like it. And you're right when you say you can't really write about something new or get inspiration when nothing has happened to you. And it's true that the moment you go and live your life and, go out, and that was the problem during COVID, right? Nothing was happening, and it was always the same. You were always in the same rooms and with the same people, and it drove you crazy because once you did go outside and started seeing people and going to parties or just, things happen to you and you have something new to write about.
Yeah.
There's this other technique where you don't have to write about yourself or situations, but you can also write about movies. The most well-known one, contemporary one, is probably Billie Eilish, and You Should See Me in a Crown, which is actually about Game of Thrones. You see, so you can watch a movie and be inspired so much that you write a song about the situations in that movie. You didn't really live through them yourself. Well, you're looking at them. So that's also something that is happening. So in that setting, we can say, even if you're only watching Netflix, actually it's okay because you can write a song about it.
Yeah.
So in that setting, you don't be so hard on yourself, because that could actually help.
At the same time, does it always have to be something productive, right? Why are we thinking, everything I do has to then kind of become something productive?
Is that not because we see it on socials and we think that everything that every influencer is doing every minute of the day is super productive and that we need to keep up?
But you get fed a lie. Yeah. So it's, because I don't think that anybody is that, no, I don't think that anybody is that productive every minute of every day. It's some people are insanely productive, but being productive in itself means achieving a lot of things in a short amount of time. It doesn't mean spending each moment of your day actually doing things that will bring you further to your goals. Yeah,
it's the other way around, like you say. Yeah,
so you're being more efficient.
Efficiently, instead of like, my whole day has to be, everything has to be. Yeah, absolutely. I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I feel like these times spent relaxing, time spent taking even days off, is times that your brain needs to then actually reset and just calm down and just be better for the future. Because I found that a lot with not just with music, but if I talk about music specifically, then I've said this in an episode before. It's when I write a middle eight, it can't come immediately after I've written the rest of the song. Because it's something new, it's something I have to experience more, I have to sit on it, I have to sit with the song, I have to, mull it over. And I'm not actually singing the song in those weeks. I'm not actually thinking about it, really. I'm coming back to it with a fresh mind, with a fresh perspective after having been gone for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it opens you up to other avenues. And that's exactly what those times for me are. Like the relaxing and stuff is not I'm obviously, you can watch things and then be like, I'm inspired to do this, that's one thing, but for me it's relaxing and then getting my brain focused on something completely different and then coming back and being like, okay, I've been jogged out of where I was before, I've been jogged out of this creative burnout, I've been jogged out of not knowing where to go. And now I can come at it with fresh ideas, fresh perspectives.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and what helps? Obviously, a lot of people are like, how to do more things more efficiently. So batching is one of those. That's basically what we're doing this week because, you're here this week, so we need to get the maximum amount of episodes recorded for season 6, and. That's the way to do it. But again, you're doing the same thing all the time. So it can become tedious and like, another episode. Okay. At least we're two people here and we're interacting, so that obviously helps. But if you're all alone, you're like, okay, today, the whole day I'm going to make reels. After the third one, you're really sick of it, you know? But if you have to do it the next day, you have to get into that makeup and that outfit and that whatever again. So, batching can be a solution. If you've prepared it well and if you can like go and do that. But for me, if I haven't written them out, like the reels or the posts or whatever I need to make, and I still need to like be creative in that moment when that doesn't work. That doesn't I need to have done it before and really have everything hand-fed, hand-feed myself basically.
Exactly, yeah.
And then just do all the reels and then you're done and it's over and you're like, I'm good for another month.
Yeah, because it's I think in that sense it's like if you keep having to come up with new things, then you're not going to. You come up with the ideas for the reels or the ideas for the songs or whatever. You come up with them over time.
And mostly when you can't do it in that moment, which is so annoying.
Write it down. Well, you have to write it down.
You have to write it down, you have to record it, and then you have to wait until, now I have some time to look at that again.
I have so many voice notes.
Me too. And it just doesn't happen that you actually go back. And for me, what I'm going to do later this year is actually, I'm going to take some time off. I mean, I'm still going to be posting, so I'm still around. I'm not disappearing. But I am not going to do anything else. And I am actually going to say, I'm not going to say, I need to make this song so I can release this song and be in a release cycle and whatever. I'm going to stop doing that and I'm going to write a gazillion songs because I want to write a gazillion songs, but I'm not in the right headspace. And so I need to just stop and not do all the other things that I'm doing every day and it's constant. I just really need to look at all my voice notes and the one that day jumps out at me and says, I can get back in that headspace when I was recording this snippet. That's the one I'm going to write that day.
But this is why I feel like, for me, I feel like I would really benefit from going off somewhere else to have a completely different setting so that you can force your brain into being like, oh, this is new. Oh, okay, what are we doing here? And then you can be like, this is my creative space. Right? Without the distractions of all the cleaning or the other work or the, all the things that have to constantly be done.
When you're in your own house, that's the problem as well.
Exactly, right? Because if you're on holiday, say, for example, yes, you clean and maybe you cook depending on how you booked your holiday. But it's different. It's different, right?
Where would you go?
I would probably right now go to Cabin. So the house that is, we are currently building a house there and it's currently still pretty much empty, but you can cook there. I can take my cats, I can take a keyboard and then just kind of set up, and has amazing acoustics. I can really see myself doing something there. But otherwise, if that weren't an option, I would try and find a cabin somewhere. A cabin, maybe even somewhere great like Greece, or somewhere interesting, somewhere with different sounds in the evening, different spices, different different experiences, to completely bring myself out of what I've known, what I've been in, and then to really just jog everything into a different mode. Yeah. So that's what
I'm coming with you. Let's go together.
Yes.
I also want to talk about social media. I mean, we've been talking about this a little bit all the time. The thing is that trends and recent events are always cutting into that.
Oh, gosh.
Cutting into your plans and like, oh, God, like watching TikTok. This is such a great TikTok. I really need to do this trend because that's interesting. But then you have to get into all the garb just to do that thing. Yeah. And that is one of the pains for me. Yeah, recent events.
You have a bigger persona, as in not in a bigger persona, but as in you have more. It entails
prep.
Yes, more prep.
So prep. It's not just a filter. It's actually a line on my face that I have to do.
Yeah. So it's a lot. You have to do a lot to get into kind of that. But for me, also not having to do all of that, I still feel like, oh gosh, I have to be present. I have to be I have to be the best version of myself, or I have to be really witty, like if I have to stitch this or if I have to do this, like I have a take on it, but I'm not over the top, like, and you know those people that go really close to the camera and it's really funny because they like make funny faces at the camera and they're like super close and they're like, I don't think so, right? Some of them are funny, some of them aren't. Because you see Dana's face right now, it's just like, well, why you think
maybe
that's
not.
but yeah, so no, but you know how it's always a big personality, as in it's it's on, it's bright, it's shining, it's there, right? You have somebody that pulls you in.
You can't do something muted.
Exactly. You can't just sit there and be like, well, I actually disagree with this because so-and-so. You have to be like, well, I disagree with this because... So it's like...
With the hand gestures.
Exactly. It's just a huge... It's an over-tuned version of yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it is you, it's an over-tuned version of yourself, and it's bright and it's on and it's perky, and it's just that's what we constantly have to switch on for stage, for social media, for things like this. And I do tend to also post vulnerable things, but then I get sometimes feedback like, oh, maybe you shouldn't post these things, not because it's received badly, but because it's so personal that people in my friend group sometimes worry that I'm giving too much of myself to the public.
Really?
Yeah. So it's because you make yourself vulnerable and you make yourself kind of more of a person than a persona. And
isn't that the point?
That is the point, but I do feel like there is a line somewhere and we just don't know where that line is.
Okay, but still, if you feel like you need to share this with the world, then you should, if you want to.
I do. I haven't like let that stop me, but it's just I haven't really been open about what's happened in the past year and a half with my uni being what it was, because I just haven't been on social media. I just completely vanished.
Because you didn't have any time.
Because I didn't have any time. I don't even know if it was I wasn't prioritizing it right. I think nowadays in life, everything is more instant. Right? So with social media, you have to be there, you have to post, you have to be there on specific times and specific days. You can choose those days and times, but you have to be there every week, right? And you if somebody's commenting, you have to answer, right? You have to constantly be aware. And because you get this immediate feedback. And it's similar actually in universities because we have hand-ins on Sundays because it's digital.
On Sundays?
On Sundays, yeah.
Oh my God.
We have hand-ins at midnight because it's digital. Right, we have hand-ins at
they shouldn't be doing that. They should like Monday to Friday is school day, and in the weekend you should be able to do whatever you want. If you're working on your thing, that's great. Yeah. But like a hand-in on Sunday, that's guaranteed that you're working Saturday and Sunday on this.
So it's exactly so. Obviously, I'm studying architecture. For people that don't know, I don't think I've said it very much, it's my second degree, and it's just so different. I know architecture is like a hard study. I don't know how to say it.
Well, it's very difficult.
Yeah, so
that's why not everyone is an architect.
Well, the thing is, I don't even think it's that difficult, to be honest. And it's not because, oh, I'm so great, I can do this, or I think it's just people think it's so much math, and it's not actually.
That's what I would say.
No, it's not. Like, even I'm at a university where we do actually have a Bachelor's of Science afterwards and not a Bachelor of Arts. Most architectural studies are a Bachelor of Arts in Germany. Huh. So they're very arty. They don't do, like, structural engineering and stuff.
Oh.
But basically, they have... It's the workload. Like, the workload is so immense that... They think, oh, this is a normal amount of time, and actually it's not. And I talked to my father about this, who has a doctorate in mathematics, right? And he said that when he was studying, he had weekends. Like,
Yeah.
and if like there was an issue in, or like a change to the hand-in, they couldn't like send you an email 2 days before the hand-in, which they do frequently.
No, yeah.
Right? Or you have a presentation on Monday and you get like the final things that you have to add on Saturday evening, and you're like, this doesn't work. Right? So it's all short. And he said, you know, if there was an issue, then, well, everybody would have done it wrong, because you couldn't communicate it. You had to go in, and hand-ins weren't on the weekends because nobody asked people to go into uni at weekends.
Well, that's the thing. You never have a break.
Yeah.
It's always on. And that creates burnout situations, because you
Exactly.
never have the weekend, your break, or whatever you need to be, because you're always connected with this school, and you get emails, you get notifications. Yeah, that's what we see with Thomas's kids as well. They get points back, like from the teachers, like in the weekend. So what do you do? Well, you go and have a look.
Exactly.
But that means that you're not disconnected from whatever you're doing in the week as well. So it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
And also they get emails about, oh, by the way, there's a test on Wednesday, or, and they're like, oh God. But normally you find out on a Monday, and then you do it from Monday to Friday. Yes, of course, you will maybe be studying in the weekend, but that's your planning.
Yeah.
But you don't get like new information or being connected. And that's the
Exactly.
problem nowadays with social media as well.
Yeah.
We're connected to everything all the time, and it's never off.
Yeah.
And so maybe don't be too hard on yourself. If you want to turn off and just like put your phone away for a weekend, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should start
maybe we
doing
should just
that.
not be online on weekends.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's
the feeling I get is so freeing. Do you get that?
I do. Maybe this is the solution.
Yeah.
Just 2 days, like Friday evening.
You can
turn
like,
it
even
off.
put it on, there's like apps on, you can do it on the iPhone, you can like restrict it. I've already set it so that after midnight I've restricted access to a lot of apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that with TikTok now, because I
Yeah.
can spend ages on there. Oh, God. I love it and I hate it at the same time. So maybe that's the solution. And you see how relieved
Instant
all of a
relief.
sudden
Yes.
you feel like, if we all did that, like,
Yeah.
but seriously, I might start doing this now. I really might start doing this, because then you can concentrate on your stuff, and you can just do the things that you want to do, even if it's like on the computer, but not
you
like
need to turn WhatsApp off then.
WhatsApp.
On the
We need to
computer.
turn WhatsApp off. But even just not going on socials, not being connected, just doing whatever you had planned, like we used to in the 90s.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember, but...
well, it was great.
Actually, I do remember, because I have memories from earlier than 3 years old, so I do remember.
Cool. Yes.
But
Yes. No, yeah. Why don't we should start doing that. Oh
Yeah.
my God. This might be the solution.
Well, it's a solution.
Yeah.
Because I think it will help immensely in our constant stress levels, which I feel that we just all have nowadays. We all feel constantly needing to be better, needing to be more, needing to do more, needing to plan, needing to cook, not, and then you feel like, oh, I'm fulfilling this side, but I'm completely lacking on this side of things.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing great in your music, maybe, oh, my living room looks like an absolute fucking mess, and why am I not getting all my housework done? Well, it's because you can't do everything at the level that you think you can, because nobody can.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
And also, we were just talking about this today, there's a study come out that, because they're starting doing studies on women, which,
Oh yeah.
fucking hooray, but there's a study come out that women need 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
No, it's 9 to 10
Did you see
even.
9 to 10? I saw 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's 10. Let's just take 10.
Yeah, let's just take 10.
Well, men need 6 to 8.
6 to 8, yeah. So
That's a big difference.
it's such a huge difference, and especially because it makes total fucking sense. Sorry that I'm swearing so much, but I'm really like, I don't sound enraged because I have my normal voice on, but I feel enraged, yes. So I cannot believe that we've known for years and years that men's brains and women's brains and men's bodies and women's bodies function completely differently.
Yeah.
Right? We've known this. Science has known this. And yet still, nutrition and health in general, but sleeping has always been, oh yes, well, men need that much sleep, so women can't need more. Women must be lazy. Why are women tired all the time? Why are women always in pain? Why do they always have headaches? Because we don't have the fucking data to actually get fucking actual oh my god, I can't even think of the word, results, we don't know because we don't study women. And it's insane because our hormones fluctuate too much. Well, big boo-hoo, you're a fucking scientist, figure it out.
Well, they don't test on us because we might be pregnant. Even if we don't want children, you can't do like a medical test because you're a woman, and we might.
Did you not hear? It's because of our monthly hormones fluctuate.
I heard a lot of things. I heard about the children. Yeah. I mean, the children.
Well, that's one part.
We might be pregnant at one point in the thing, and if you're like on a medical trial, obviously that's a problem. So I get it, but on the other hand, if a woman wants to do a medical trial, you're asking these people, and we will sign whatever, and then you can do the medical trial. But it's not just test on us without us knowing. Obviously, no. You don't do that with the men either. No. And so now, we know we're starting to find out all these different things. Last time I saw this, it's probably going to be a TikTok, didn't it? Wasn't it? It's always going to be something on TikTok. And there was this thing where, then you can debate, is it real or not? But it could be because of our hormones and fluctuations that are different from men. So men have a 24-hour cycle, and we have a monthly cycle or 28-day cycle. That different times in our cycle, we have different acidity in our mouths with regards to our teeth. So we all of a sudden sometimes we're like, oh, our teeth have been great, and all of a sudden we have like something is happening, and we start having problems in our mouths because we're actually using all the products that are designed by and for men, because that hasn't been tested with women either, and so we're using these toothpastes and whatever, and so it doesn't work all the time. No. So sometimes our acidity in our mouths or whatever counteracts, and it's just bad. Stuff like that is coming out now. Yeah. So it's this whole shitstorm of stuff that we didn't know, but it explains so much.
It does, because actually the past 2 months I've been having like 1 week specifically where I have teeth problems. And I'm
my God!
What's happening? I don't know why the past 2 months and not before. Maybe I'm just noticing a pattern. But I also had a change in my contraceptive recently, so maybe that was it. I don't know.
Oh my God, you see? It's connected. Well, there you go. You can research that now.
Yeah, it's strange.
And it's all these things that are coming out. So, but then, I do feel lazy because if I had to like sleep 10 hours a day, well, then, I already have not enough time in a day, so that would be even worse. On the other hand, I would feel better.
Yeah, you'd feel better. You'd get more shit done.
Because we are actually constantly sleep deprived because we are following this weird-ass thing that's not for us.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, I never followed it, so I never gave a shit, because I guess also I'm still young enough that people are like, well, okay, she sleeps until whatever.
But you're still young enough also that your body recuperates faster. Yeah. If you get older, it's harder and harder and harder.
I mean, I get, if I sleep badly for 3 days in a row, and that by badly I mean less than 7 hours, for 3 days in a row, I get a migraine.
Yeah.
So it's not just, like, my body is literally telling me this is not good for you.
Yeah.
And obviously there will always be women who can, and men who can't. I know a guy who sleeps 3.5 hours a night because he's an insomniac, and he has for his whole life. His father is the same, and he's completely fine, and that's just, but that...
Do they nap? Because they always say they're insomniac, but then they nap during the day. That's crazy. It is crazy. Not a lot. Yeah. Well, some people might be able to do it, but I think in general,
Yeah.
we should
And
sleep.
we're talking about the normal human body,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody needs to listen to their own body's needs, but I think women have been trained not to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely have been trained not to.
Yeah.
And also, with contraception, you don't feel you don't feel as much.
No, you don't.
Like mentally, I mean, the connection with your body is very much gone when you take contraception. That also is not enough talked about, and is also all coming out right now, that, you know, we're just not in touch with our feelings and our bodies and what is actually going on because we're taking fake hormone, like synthetic hormones, and doing all these things. So yeah. And
it's
also
crazy.
Adele, you were talking about Adele.
Yes,
talked about this because not a lot of artists talk about this stuff.
Well, Adele talked about how her depression basically made a lot of her time very hard, right? So she, I don't know, she the article I read recently was about her album 30 or pre-album 30, and how she said that she always writes depressing songs, and that's what, you know, people expect from her. And obviously her album 30 is different. It's still melancholic, but there's some...
She's taking back the power a little bit after the whole...
After the divorce and stuff, yeah. And I feel like what I wanted to talk about in regards to Adele is that I have felt in my creativity always like I'm doing something wrong because I only write sad songs, right?
Yeah, you've talked about that before.
And then like it only hit me. I've been writing songs for like years and years now. Like I didn't really write songs as a teenager because like I don't know, I was a singer and I was like, oh, I'm not a songwriter. And then I went to uni and I was like, no, actually I am.
Yeah.
And everybody, oh no, not everybody, but even my mum is like, oh, can't you write a happy song once? And I'm like, no, I can't. And it took me until 2 years ago, I think it's 2 years ago now, to figure out that my music is so similar to Adele's or Lewis Capaldi, and that these people have made it big time with sad songs, and that people listen to that because I should know because I listen to it.
Yeah,
I listen to sad songs. They don't depress me. I feel happy singing like a sad song. It's really random and strange, but that's just, you know, and there are more people like me, and obviously there's a huge audience.
Well, is it not a way to, I feel that songwriting is a way to get through a thing. So obviously you have a harder time with the sad things that happen, and you need to write them out to get over them and to get over the trauma. So basically that's what you're doing. You're only writing. Yeah, you're processing it. I had the same thing with you know, surviving a narcissist, where I was only writing songs about him, you know, about the situation. And also my mom was like, okay, can you not like stop writing about the situation? Are you not over it now? Well, apparently not, because I keep writing about it, and it's helping me. And at one point I won't anymore. But right now, this is just what's coming out of me. So I'm writing it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, because, you know, your life changes, and then you change as an artist because you write what you experience. And yes, if you do collaborations, you come up with like brilliant, different stuff that you never would have written on your own.
Yeah.
But that's because it's with a different
collaboration.
person. It's a collaboration. Yeah. It's going to be different.
The vibe is totally different than on your own.
Completely different. Yeah. And it's just so, it's like, I've also been hindered in my creative process, and I think this has also contributed to creative burnout for me, because I just felt like what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not, and that is something that I feel like every creative person should take with it. Whatever you're doing, it's your creative process.
Yeah.
And don't, like, the people closest to you won't necessarily be the people who will love it.
Yeah, and they don't always understand, so don't let them tell you how to be creative. And it's also, you can't write a song about something that you haven't lived. You're like, okay, write a happy song, okay, but nothing happy has happened to me, or like the sad things are more overpowering, and I have more of a problem with those, so I write about them more. And then something did, for me, something happy did happen, like kind of, I met somebody else, and I'm in a great relationship now for the past 10 years, and I have written songs about that now, not as many, but I guess it's because like a happy random thing doesn't have that emotional value. It's not important enough to write about, and that's why the sad and hurtful things are.
Yeah.
Because it's the weight in the balance is just more. So I also feel if I would have a look at all my recordings on my phone right now, there's a lot of feminist stuff going on in there as well, like rage, like why don't you let us, and why don't you and give us equal this, and so it's where the passion comes from. I mean, seeing a puppy on the street is great, but it doesn't make you passionate about something and wanting to say something, wanting to change the world.
I mean, obviously happy things happen to us in our lives.
Yes, of course.
We're so happy a lot of the time.
I love partying. I'm like a party animal. I go to a lot of parties.
Exactly. So when like there's love songs, a lot of the love songs, right, you listen to, they're not like, oh, I love you right now and you're so perfect.
And everything's great.
It's mostly like, oh my God, I love you, but do you even know I exist? Or, oh my God, I love you, but you have somebody else. Or, it's the passion, as you say. And I really admire the songs that are passionate about an existing love. That because for me that means that it must be so strong, it must be so much something that somebody cherishes, that they really feel like they can write a song about this. And I feel like those things are like for the ages. Yeah. Right?
I wish I could write a song about, hey, we're in the club and we're drinking and it's fun.
You can do that après-ski.
Yes, like a lot of people have done it, and a lot of pop songs are that way, and it's a little bit mindless, and it's like, oh yeah, la la la, blah blah blah, shots. So cool, but I haven't had that kind of inspiration yet because I don't know. So I wish I could. It's probably a technique, and I think also that those are like collaborative songs because it's kind of a party.
Yeah,
you're there with 3 or 4 songwriters. It's like, oh yeah, come on, what shall we write about? Oh, but I was in the club, and then you kind of tell it to each other, and that creates the song. Exactly. I don't think they were alone writing about pole dancing. So that's basically the vibe. So if I were to go into a studio with multiple songwriters and we're like, okay, like, we need to write a song about how nice cats are, then we would all start talking about our cats, and that would create a song. It's the process is different. So on my own, obviously I will write about the most emotion for me, which is like the things at that moment. The
strongest emotions that we have. And I feel like the strongest emotions that we have that we want to talk about is the ones that we still need some sort of clarification, some sort
closure,
of closure. Yes, kind of closure is good. Or
acceptance some sort of, that it happened.
Even if it's like feminist rage, it's to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get happiness off your chest.
Exactly.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Quote, you do not have to get happiness off your chest.
Creative burnout, we've all had it. If you've had an experience, feel free to send it to us. We'd really love to know. We'd love to help. And
all right, let's switch off our phones on Friday evening.
Yes.
Oh my God, I really want to try this. Well, on that note, that's all for today, and thank you for tuning into Unboxing Women. If you've ever, I wanted to say, Unboxing Women comes out on a Thursday, so you can still listen to us before you shut off your phone. If you've ever had an experience that you want to share with us, send us a DM or tag us in your post with the hashtag suchabitch, or send us an email on suchabitch@unboxingwomen.com, and we will not be answering you during the weekend. Don't forget to drop us a like on Instagram or wherever you're listening to us. My name is Inarix, and I've been chatting with Micah Rose. Tune in to another episode soon of Unboxing Women. See you then. Bye-bye. Bye.